Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Before I get started, I want to remind you all to hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss another episode. I promise y'all, these are only getting better, right? Anyways, tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard, episode 8, which is the season finale to a wonderful first season, to a wonderful show. I really enjoyed everything about this show, and I'm really excited that they gave us a chance. And by us, y'all know I mean Black people. Anyways, this episode started off, I believe, with Alex and Nick talking about the event that they're throwing, Lux in the Bluff, which is actually quite important because every single episode up until this episode, they've always just continued from the previous cliffhanger. And the previous episode ended with Jasmine and Silas fighting, but they didn't start there, right? So they started with them talking, trying to get everything together. But then they go to Jasmine, Silas, I think it's Amir, and Jason and Preston are all in the kitchen, and everybody could just feel the tension between Silas and Jasmine. And obviously, I'm pretty sure they heard them. If they can hear them having sex, then they can hear them when they arguing too, right? Because Silas wasn't quiet during that argument. He was quite loud. And so Jasmine, I guess, kind of walks off, and Amir's like, hey, what's going on, you know? And Silas is like, oh, I just think our schedules are off. We're not meshing. We're not whatever. And Amir goes to his little, talking with the producers, like, Silas needs to grow up, man. Like, cook for yourself. Do shit yourself. And that's so real. I feel like Silas got a wife and feels like he no longer needs to do anything for himself. And that is such a weird belief to have, right? It's just so weird because she should add to you and she should assist you, of course. But the fact that you don't think you should do anything anymore because you have a wife, I'm just so confused by this relationship. So then the group decides to go on a tour, the African American Heritage Trail, and Alex doesn't go because he has stuff to plan for the event, and he has a surprise for Nick, and he wants to make sure that everything is all taken care of. But what I will say, I don't care what anybody says. The best thing about the show is the history that they be throwing in there. I love these little tidbits, and I hope that as the seasons continue, that's something that's still integral to the show. I love it. I think yeah, you get the shade, the messiness, the drama, but you get history facts, and we just need that, right? For everybody who's watching to get that. But the lady who's walking on the tour, she's talking about, oh, Diana Ross stayed here, and this person, and she's like, and this was Dorothy West's house. And she was like, have you guys seen or read the book, The Wedding? Every single face was confused. They were like, The Wedding? I never. And I'll be honest with you, I've never read The Wedding. I have never watched the movie because apparently there was a movie and Halle Berry starred in it. Have not seen it. But I will be honest, that clip made me say, let me go watch that movie. And if it's on audiobook, your girl will listen, right? I will try if I can find it because I don't really read books no more. They gotta listen to them by audiobook. But yeah, it was just funny because she was asking, looking at the group, I was like, do people who usually take this tour know who Dorothy West is and know what The Wedding is, or do they just lie? But everybody there was just confused as heck. But it was a beautiful tour. I enjoyed it as a viewer, just getting the little clips of what they got. So I thought that was really cool. They get back and immediately Jasmine, everybody starts doing whatever they're doing. And Jasmine's like, oh, I got to run an errand. But I guess she had been cooking Silas lunch. And so she asked Amir, hey, can you just finish off the shrimp and rice and I will be back. She doesn't necessarily state where she's going or what she's doing, But, she asked somebody to help. She started the meal. It was pretty much done. And she just needed, Amir to kind of finish it off. Whew. But Silas, that's not enough for him. No, nope, nope. She got to serve it in a maid's outfit with a little feather duster or whatever because he was upset that she left and didn't actually serve him the food that she cooked. Because when he came into the kitchen, he was like, "Oh, thanks, man," to Amir. And Amir's like, "This was all Jasmine. I just making sure it don't burn. Like, I didn't do anything here. So don't even think for a second I would cook for you." And, because apparently Silas thinks everybody needs to be doing everything for him. But it was just crazy to me. He's upset that she left and she wasn't there to help him get dressed. Silas is grown. Silas is 30 plus years old and needs his wife to be there for him to get dressed. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what relationship roles you guys have decided on. Getting somebody dressed, you get children dressed because children don't know how to dress. You get people who need assistance dressed. You don't get able-bodied people dressed. Like, that is such a weird thing for him to have been angry about when he has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a mind that works, and he can do that himself. Like, it is a very, very strange thing to be upset with. Like, he was literally upset. Like, you aren't here to help me get dressed. You're an adult. Get it together. Get it to freaking together, Silas. That is so weird. And it's really crazy because I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that we are getting the absolute toned down version of his behavior because he knows he's on TV. So he's only doing what he believes is reasonable in his actions. So I don't think he's doing anything too crazy because he thinks, oh, they're watching me, so let me be as reasonable as possible. And that is what's scaring me, right? Because we are getting the absolute best of his behavior. I just can't even imagine how the day-to-day goes. And I know that things are a little different because they are on vacation and he keeps saying that their, program has and their routine is off, but it's just insane to me what we're all witnessing. Like, we're all witnessing this together and not a single person has been like, yes, this is normal behavior, Silas. We have all seen, on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere I've looked, Reddit, everybody's like, this is insanity. And I just hope that when he watches it back, he gets a little bit of like, oh, yeah, I could see how someone could think that or could see that or have that feeling about my behavior. I just hope that's what he sees. I hope he's not so stuck in his ways that he just thinks we're all crazy. Every single person that's against what he's saying. And yeah, so like, I just don't think there's like, no matter what happens in your house, what's going on here is just too much. But Jasmine, you could tell she's getting a little tired of it or irritated by it because she goes to her girl Jordan to vent a little bit. And, Jordan is happy. And I don't think Jordan by any means is happy that her friend is having problems in her relationship. But I do think she's happy that with a problem, her friend is now coming to her, right? And I think that's what we all want. We always want to have that relationship with our friend that they know, like, hey, I'm here for you regardless. Like, there's nothing that can change that. And if you need me, I'm here and you should feel safe and comfortable coming to me. So I think that's kind of Jordan's feeling. Like, she wants to just be that shoulder that Jasmine could lean on like she had always been. And just because you're married doesn't mean that relationship should change. And I think in that sense, Jordan is a good friend. I like that about her. Alex's brother comes to help with the event. I think he's a musician of such or whatever. And Nick is sad that his girlfriend can't come because she was in Africa for whatever reason. And then the event starts. It seems like it's weird because I'm not quite sure who they had come to the event. Like, some of the cast was like, oh, I brought my cousin or I brought my friend or I brought, but then there was also a lot of extras, and I'm like, are these production and producer extras, or are these people that are just in Martha's Vineyard extras? Like, who are these people? If you know the meme I'm referencing to with Tommy Davidson, people is not the word he uses, but I'm just sitting there like, who are these people? Like, there was really no context to all the extra people that were there. I know some of them were performers and such, but whatever. Then Alex is like, I have a surprise for my friend Nick, and it's right behind you, and it's his girlfriend, and she's cute, very cute girl. But something's not quite right. I think she's a very sweet girl. I think she's very beautiful. It's not her that I don't think that there's something right with. It's maybe their relationship. I'm not quite sure. So then it's funny because everybody's kind of like, girlfriend? She's really here? Like, Jordan was like, in her little confessional, she's like, all I heard was Aaliyah's song, If Your Girl Only Knew. Like, for real, because if she knew you was in here playing around, what would she think, right? Bria shocked. Preston was like, I wouldn't even know what I would do if I was hiding my person. Like, he is. Like, he's hiding his person. And he's like, I don't know what I would do. I just don't think, like, I wouldn't even be able to talk to my person because I'm hiding them. But I mean, I think it's always shocking, right? Like, somebody says they have someone, but they've been trying to get at you. It happens all the time. You see the stories. People are like, you are getting married, but you was just in my DMs begging me for a date. Like, it's always weird. It don't matter the situation. It's always very weird when men or whoever has that type of energy, and then you later found out that they have somebody. And then now the person's in front of your face. So it's even like, okay, interesting, right? Alex then performs a song with his brother. I think Alex has talent. Yeah. Summer is like kind of in tears, and she looks at Jordan. She's like, oh, are you crying too? And Jordan's like, no. Hell no. Like, and that's kind of how I felt. Like, nothing about his performance was emotional. And again, we get the cut and spliced version, but I didn't find it to be emotional. I could just be a very stony personality like Jordan, and maybe that's why it didn't get to me. Yeah, but I think Summer is like that artistic girly, so that's maybe her thing. But yeah, it was just funny. Then I guess Simon is like really drunk. See, and that's the thing, they don't really focus on him until this point, and Simon is like wasted, and he's like, I'm jumping into the pool. And in that moment, Simon realized that he was with black folk, because he jumped into the pool and not one other person was like, whoa, let's jump in. Everybody was like, in his suit? Dang, that's a nice suit. Why he jump in the pool like that? Like, it was a bunch of people like, what is he doing? What's going on? But, and I think in that moment he was like, oh. So Simon just got up out the pool and gingerly walked upstairs to change, because he realized it was not that type of party. Lux in the Bluff meant Lux in the Bluff. Like, we not playing that jump in the pool in our nice fancy outfits game. He was not, we don't play that. Not gonna happen. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done it, but it was just a very glaring realization that Simon was really white and they were all black. It was just, that moment was like, there we go. That's what that is. But anyway, so Jason was actually losing it during that moment. Like, what the heck? And that's how I'd be like, what is he doing? Does he not know the company he is with? But yeah, so Bria then goes to talk to Nick's girlfriend. And this is the point that I found to be very interesting in this conversation, because I don't know what Bria was trying to accomplish. Like, I know she was telling, When Bria said that she would 100% want somebody to tell her her man was in their DMs, I actually believe that. I do believe that. However, this girl isn't on the show. This girl just showed up. You're telling her her man was in all these women he's been staying here with DMs, and he was calling some of them, even someone like Shanice, like his wife or whatever. Now, Nick, I'll be honest, he looks like the company he keeps is very well poised, and there was no way Tasia was about to go off. Even if she was mad as hell, she wasn't going to go off for the fact that she was on camera. There was multiple people there, and she didn't want anybody to know her true feelings. Like, she was like, yeah, we talked about it. Girl, you lying like shit. And it's so obvious. She looking at Bria like, yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, I know he may have had a few conversations. He told you he was calling girls his wife. Tasia, you ain't gotta lie, friend. You ain't gotta lie. Because I know he didn't tell you that. Because he didn't think anybody was going to tell you that. No. I just think Tasia is a poised woman who, you know, doesn't want to show anger or a behavior that she doesn't want to follow her after this show on the show. I just think that's all it was. Like, I don't even know if they're still together. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but let me tell you, girl, ain't no way. Your man be like, well, I'm about to go stay in a house for 15 days with a bunch of women that I've been flirting with in the DMs while you're in Africa. See ya. No, nope, I'm not buying it. But yeah, Nick was right to be worried about Bria talking to his girl. He was like, oh, I just know the type of person that Bria is, and I'm worried with her being alone with Tasia. Yeah, you should have been worried, because Bria was coming to start mess. And luckily, it didn't start mess because your girl isn't that type of person. But what I thought was really funny about their conversation was Bria was talking about the growth that she's had in the house. And I'm like, 15-day growth? First of all, it's not true. Second of all, it's not true. Third of all, it's absolutely not true. You didn't grow. You didn't change. You came into the house a little brat and you left a little brat. I personally have nothing against Bria, but come on, girl. Let's be honest with ourselves. There was no growth in that house for you. Because absolutely not. And yeah, so Jasmine, moving on, because that, you know, whatever. Jasmine talks about her and Silas needing therapy. I think she's really concerned with where their relationship is. Silas doesn't seem like the type that would want to get therapy, but I actually hope that he did. I'm not rooting against them. I'll never root against Black love. But if he's actually being verbally abusive and treating her incorrectly, then yeah, I'm against it and they should separate. But if there is a way to fix it and he can be better than what he's showing us, then yeah, I hope that they work out. But who knows? But yeah, so then Alex and Summer talk, and I don't know, their vibe together, like they're both, it's funny because they talk and they both are like, oh, I vibe with Summer, I vibe with Alex, oh, I can see this, like I could see me flying to go see him and hanging out and blah, 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 blah. But unless it just wasn't shown throughout the season, which again, we didn't see hours and hours of time, but it was like, it didn't seem like they was vibing at all. Like, they seemed like they didn't even talk. Like, it was weird. Like, I understand that it's a show. They had a lot of people. They had to decide what was going to make the cut. It's an hour-long episode. It's not too much. But those two people during this show just seemed like two people that was not It just seemed like two people that was not even like talking. Um, Jordan and Amir realizes that he's been friend zoned with Jordan, and Jordan really likes who Amir is. Like, she's like, that's become one of her closest friends. I'm glad that it worked out like that, because just because someone likes you doesn't mean you have to date them, right? And Jordan, one thing I'll say is like, she had this goal of being celibate for however long that she wanted to be. And Amir came in immediately not agreeing with that viewpoint. And if that's what makes it so you're like, hey, you know what, this person's not for me, then that person's not for you. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you guys can't be friends. That doesn't mean you guys can't grow in your relationship with each other. But it does, everything doesn't have to be sexual, and y'all don't have to be doing all that. Which is crazy, because the only people that hooked up were the married people and the dating couple. There was literally no other couple that showed any actual physical sexual interest in each other. And that's kind of crazy, right? Because they had way too many single people in the house for everybody to just be like, oh no, we cool. And everybody was good looking. I think that there has to be a shakeup if this show is going to get a season 2. Then Bria and Simon get into an argument over Bria asking Simon to watch Milo. They didn't show her ask him, but like, she came over like, oh, you have an attitude, whatever. She starts going off. And Simon's like, girl, you didn't ask me nicely. Like, you just came and told me to watch your dog, and that was it. And I was like, dang, this is so intense, and it's all over a dog watching. But you have to remember that these people are drunk. Simon went and just jumped in the pool. Bria is always getting very wasted. Plus, she's immature. This is the girl who just told someone else that she's changed, now having a full-on fight with her man. But what happens? All of a sudden, Summer comes out, and she's trying to figure out what the problem is. Girl, why are you here? I didn't quite understand that. I was like, everybody's having a good time, enjoying. Maybe she thought it was going to escalate because of who Bria has been throughout this season. But she came out there like Captain Save-A-Ho and was like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? What's the issue here? And Bria gets mad and walks inside, and Summer stays outside, and she's talking to Simon. And don't get me wrong, she's not like trying to flirt with him or anything. She's really trying to like be that middle person. But it's like, girl, who called you? Because it was weird. And so Jordan is trying to calm down Bria and tell her like, hey girl, like, you know, calm down. It's okay. Like, what's going on? Whatever. But what's weird that Jordan did, and she seems to always do, is she takes Bria's side so much that she starts to be a little ridiculous. Because then she was like, why is Summer out there? Like, girl, you know your friend is out of control. Why are you trying to fuel those flames? Like, why are you doing this? The same way you told Jasmine that Mariah pushed Bria, like, you throw doves to like support your friend, and like, girl, why? Like, the situation is the situation. Ain't no need to throw doves and add extras and make situations more than what they need to be. I feel like I don't even think Jordan does it intentionally. I think she unintentionally does it, and it's very weird. Like, she needs to assess that character that she has. It's a very weird character. But Bria's like, I want Simon out of here. He has to leave. He has to go home. Blah blah blah. I'm like, girl, y'all leaving tomorrow. Why are you trying to get rid of him on the last night? You sound crazy as hell. It's like, why are you doing the most on the last night? It's a lot. But then she's like, you know, mad that Summer was supporting him and not her because they're supposed to be friends. But if I'm correct, on the day Summer showed up, she didn't know any of those people. She only knew Jasmine and met all the rest of them while in the house. So she really doesn't have any loyalty to anybody. So Bria then calls her mom because she wants to complain and vent. And she's like, Simon's embarrassing me. Simon is this, Simon is that. He's dancing in tables. He's jumping in pools. He was so embarrassed. And I'm like, first of all, her mom is definitely Team Simon, because she was like, okay, well, relax. And I'm like, no, really, because girl, you were on the table dancing. You always act out of pocket. You over here yelling and acting crazy, but Simon is embarrassing you. Girl, you spent this whole season embarrassing yourself. Okay? Simon has not done anything to add to that embarrassment. I mean, a little secondhand embarrassment when he jumped in the pool, but like, that's it. That's it. Just a little secondhand embarrassment when he jumped in that pool. But other than that, he has not done anything to embarrass you more than you have done to embarrass yourself. And it's crazy that you think anything other than that. But she's mad, she's going off, and her mom's not even agreeing with her, meaning her mom knows that she's dramatic as hell. Her mom knows that. Because if her mom didn't know that, her mom would have been like, oh my God, he did what? But her mom was like, okay, chill. Are you sure? Is that really what Simon did? Like, her mom was definitely like, girl, you out of pocket. But then, you know, Simon comes in there to the room, and, you know, Summer then comes into the room. Why she's back in their business, I'm not sure. But she's back in their business. And Bria's like, get out. I don't want you to come in here. And she's like, Bria, wait. I'm just trying to. Bria's like, get out. I don't know, yelling at her. And Summer comes. And honestly, I was a little shocked because she done pushed the girl. Bria goes flying back. She tries to, you know, kind of bum rush Summer. And they cut the camera, but it looked like Summer dragged her down into her little like luggage or whatever it was. And I was like, ooh, Summer low-key a fighter. Baby girl was ready to bust heads. But it seemed like she chilled because she knew she was so much stronger than Bria. But honestly, Bria loses it, rightfully so, because y'all was having a words argument and Summer took it too far by pushing Bria because she didn't need to, but she did. I do think that Summer was absolutely wrong. I feel like Bria has gone into a lot of arguments and has been dead wrong, and for the first time, she was not in the wrong. But everybody had to come hold her back. Summer just got up and walked away. Bria's losing it, trying to get through so she could fight. You could see production came in to see what was going on. And it's crazy to me because not a single person initially went to go help Summer or see what the heck was going on. Everybody, there was like 4 people in Bria's room. And I feel like that's the behavior that she's used to and why she behaves the way she does, right? Very entitled. People are always there to cater to her, like everybody, until finally Alex went to check on Summer, or maybe they did. Again, we don't know how the exact edit was, but finally Alex went to go check on Summer and is talking to her, and Summer was just like, she was tripping. It's like, baby girl, you was tripping. You were tripping. Like, why'd you push her? Because she told you not to come into her room? She has every right to tell you not to come into her room. Like, girl, but who knows? Then everything kind of calms down, and I think Jasmine is sending Bria a text message, and Silas is like, oh, you have to go check on Bria. You can't just send a text. You got to go check on her. That didn't seem to sit right with Jasmine, because she was like, I don't give a damn. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care your opinion on the situation. Leave me alone. Silas apparently didn't like that energy that she was giving. It was like, I know you're not talking to your husband like that. Okay, that was a lot. Like, yes, I get that she was a little disrespectful. I do, because Jasmine was upset, rightfully so, because you're always trying to put your nose in it. But that response was so aggressive. I was like, Silas, no, right? And so she's like, you know, I'm not talking to you, whatever. And he literally is like losing it over this. And he is just like, without me, you're nothing. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to wake up tomorrow and your life would be different. Basically saying that without him, she'll be back on the streets, homeless. And baby, that's called financial abuse. That's a thing. That's a thing, okay? Like, you might not know, but that's a real thing. A lot of people do it, and it appears Silas is one of them. Jasmine, blink twice if you're being held against your will because someone is financially abusing you to stay. That is insane. That is such an insane thing to say to your wife on television. Ooh, you know that was a peak of his real anger level, right? What we have been seeing is toned down, crazy as it's been, toned down. Him making the claim that without him, like, she would wake up to a different life, she wouldn't have nothing, that was just a peek into who he really is and how he really comes at her when things get crazy. And it's not looking good. But yeah, so the next day, everybody goes to bed. The next day, everybody's getting ready to leave. Nick drops off his girlfriend first thing in the morning. Amir leaves. Honestly, the reason why I said Nick and Tasia seemed off is they didn't really seem like a real couple. I'll just be 100% honest. They seem like that's a girl that maybe he's cool with, and he was like, we're cool. Can you pretend to be my girlfriend? Because I was getting rejected by all these girls. And she was like, yeah, of course, whatever. And then I get a little 15 minutes. That's how that seemed. That was my little thought, but whatever. But then Simon and Bria worked through their issues. Again, we only got a short clip, but not nan apology was uttered. It was like, are you over it? I'm over it. Let's be good. There was no, I'm so sorry. My behavior was out of pocket. I shouldn't have said those things to you. Toxic. But I wish them the best. Then Summer actually goes to address Bria. I think she woke up like, wow, I was wilding. I was acting up. I was wilding out. And luckily she went over there and she apologized for her behavior. She definitely realized her fault in the situation and owned up to it, which, you know, people like that, I can always commend. Like, you see that you made a fault and you go about correcting said fault. I like that about Summer. Then everybody's getting ready to leave. Jasmine talks to Jason about her arguments with Silas. And she thinks they just need to get back home and get back to their regular life and their routine. But let me tell you something. People that are like that, there's not enough normalcy and routine that can keep that wicked spirit from coming out, right? Like, that wicked spirit is in them, and that wicked spirit will always find its way out. That's just my belief, and that's my thoughts on it. I'll leave that alone. But yeah, so that's pretty much how the season ended. Everybody took off. Everybody left. I'm really hoping, I don't think they'll get a reunion, but I am really hoping that they will give them a second season. I do think there needs to be a shakeup of the cast. I'm really hoping that certain people come back. Like, sorry, Bria and Simon, I want them back. Preston, mandatory has to come back. I think Amir would be a really good person to come back. I think Jordan's cool. I think Shanice is a must. Hopefully she's able to stay the entire time. Nick, I actually kind of liked him. I had no faults with him. I liked him. He could stay. I liked Alex, but I don't think he's good for reality TV. A little too bland, a little too boring. Jasmine and Silas, I don't want to see him back. If someone else has a couple that they can bring, that's what they should do. I thought I wanted them back, but I don't think I can deal with Silas. Like, Jasmine could come on her own, but I don't think I could deal with Silas for another season. Summer is cool. Jason got too much responsibility. He got a 3-month-old at home. I think we can do without him. Summer, I think if she kind of like lets loose a little bit, we can get her back too. Yeah, I just think they need to shake that cast up, maybe remove people and add better people, or just remove people altogether and make it a smaller group. maybe pick a better time to be in Martha's Vineyard so it's more tent up. They can do more things outside of the house or invite more people to the house, right? I do think some things gotta give to give it more of a shakeup, but otherwise, I think it was a fantastic first season for the show. I'm really excited for what's to come, and I'm so excited that Bravo took a chance on Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And I think if you haven't, you should too. Watch it. Go to Martha's Vineyard. Enjoy the bluffs. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with all the happening reality TV. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.